So I had people ask what gear to run on neutron capture Harlow, and I just wanted to put out this video because there's just been a lot of content creators making videos about neutron capture, and they don't have the entire picture yet of how the damage for this build works. So I just want to go over what my current thoughts on what the best build are. And I don't claim to have tested every permutation of the skill tree and gear, but I did make a DPS calculator spreadsheet that can help you test out different permutations so that you can find what the exact best setup is on neutron capture. So what I think is currently best is this. If you go into skills, this is mostly the same as other people's skill trees. So I think people have caught on to the fact that decoherence is a bonus element, so it is multiplicative with the soup, and it applies to chroma accelerator and neutron capture. But what I think a lot of people haven't realized is that chain reactor, uh, decoherence, and watts for dinner all proc neutron capture in additional time. So you're hitting like each projectile, like every single pellet in a single shot can proc neutron capture, but they'll proc it 4 times potentially, and you can even proc it 5 times if you have nuclear winter from either using the Midnight Defiance tech or um, having a teammate give it to you. So yeah, that's why just like 1 point in decoherence is so insane. It doubles your damage if you have nothing else. It's not just that, it double dips your damage. So yeah, the best gear setup I would say is shiny warpaint with fire rate and damage. Previously I was running um, damage and elemental damage, but fire rate is definitely better here, just because you have so much soup already. For the grenade, I mean, crit knife is definitely best in slathers. I mean, it's the crit knife. And the reason why it's like, without crit knife, you're losing more than half your damage, and the reason why is because, well, everything, like, chroma accelerator, neutron capture, and all of its bonus elements can all crit. Um, and putting points in Make Extraordinary and getting crit chance from your class mod and from a honed mind will not be enough to make up for the fact that you're losing latent charge, which double dips but doesn't give us an additional proc of neutron capture. But it's just a bigger number than decoherence, which is why it's so good. Yeah, so if the crit knife gets deleted, well, you actually don't want to be running crit anymore. Like you don't want to swap into Make Extraordinary because you're losing latent charge, and you definitely don't want to lose Demon Core. So the opportunity cost is just too high for the extra soup bonuses. Instead, what I would do is, so this is probably the best setup if you don't have, or if the crit knife gets deleted on Monday's patch, is you want to take the Slippy and you take CQC and Groundbreaker. I guess this doesn't really work that well versus mobs, but you can throw a Slippy at a boss, and hopefully this will just give you 20% more damage, like multiplicative to everything else. So yeah, best in slot right now is Crit Knife, and then for the class mod, you definitely want either 5 into 5 decoherence or 3 out of 3 chain reactor. I think with the math that I did in the spreadsheet, chain reactor is a little bit worse than decoherence, like 10% worse. And the main reason, well, they're the same element, they get the same formula, it's just that the number is lower. You get 18% with an extra 3 out of 3, or like 6 out of 3 here, you get 36. And then you get 25 from this, which is just a bigger number. And then, oh yeah, the physicist class mod can also roll feedback loop, so you want your 2 remaining points to go into feedback loop. And the radiologist class mod with the chain reactor cannot roll anything else that benefits this build. So that's another reason why physicist is better. And for passives, you definitely want action skill damage, and crit damage. Sorry, no. Action, skill damage, crit damage, and fire rate. Yeah, let me just check my spreadsheet. Yeah. So you want action, skill damage, crit damage, and fire rate. But once the crit knife gets deleted, or if it does, you want action, skill damage, and fire rate. Because the other option would be to go action, skill damage, and crit chance, and try to go make extraordinary, and then also have a honed mind for another 5% crit chance. But it just doesn't add up. Just losing latent charge is just too massive. So you definitely want to go non-crit if crit knife gets deleted. And then shield is either watts for dinner or protein cell. For bossing, I guess protein cell you can easily use it, but just an overall most consistent option is watts for dinner with the siphon part. Hopefully, ideally. It's just easiest to keep up because you don't have good ways to keep up your shield in this build versus mobs. Like, you just don't have the points to take this, and you don't have the points to take this. This would be really good if we had more, like if we got a level cap increase and we have more skill points, because we can keep up a protein cell and not have to use watts for dinner. And this works with neutron capture. Wait, action skill. Actually, I don't really remember my testing on this. You'd have to double check, but I think it should work with neutron capture. So when we're shooting enemies with neutron capture active, our shield will constantly be full. Should definitely test that though. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. So for enhancement, yeah, the Kadogawa's is a pretty well-known gun to be OP for this build, and the best enhancement you want for that is a purple one with bounce pass, gunfire rate, sniper fire rate, and gun splash damage. So enhancement splash damage works really weirdly. It boosts all your damage, which is good because regular splash damage, like from Indiscrete Math, only applies to chroma accelerator, and it doesn't apply to bonus elements applied to chroma accelerator, and it doesn't apply to neutron capture, and it doesn't apply to bonus elements applied to neutron capture. So it's regular splash damage is extremely bad, and you want enhancement splash damage, either gun splash damage or sniper splash damage, because the Katagawa's is a splash weapon, which allows you to use either of those, and they both give 25%, so either is fine. Okay, so as I probably didn't go over this yet, but bounce pass makes the ricochet potentially it can hit all 3 hits on a boss. Like the ricochet will ricochet on the boss to itself, which doesn't make any sense, but hey, it's more damage, right? So instead of spawning 3 drones every time we hit a boss, we're spawning 9 drones. And each drone can tick 7 times. And we also get 3 more drones from high caliber when we pierce the boss and hit the ground. Hitting the ground also spawns another 3 drones. So we have a total of 12 drones, and each hits 7 times. So that's 84 hits, counting the initial hit. So that's 85 hits per trigger pull from the Katagawa's, which is why it's OP. Like 1.7 times 85 is like 100 something, and no other gun that I've seen can reach that high projectile count times fire rate. Like I try to set up with a Ripper SMG bod with like a Ripper short circuit enhancement, and it just doesn't come near the output that you can do with the Katagawa's. partially because with the bod you have to take critical funding to make sure its mag stays full. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And yeah, so firmware we want high caliber, and for the remaining two, the technically the highest DPS is I think one in Bullets to Spare and one in God Killer for 5% fire rate and 10% damage to bosses. But Goo JFC just works versus all enemies, so it's the more consistent option. And then what I found are the best specializations are I am a gun, so that we can benefit from like neutron decay and also the gun damage from our specialization, and yeah, skill damage gets doubled on certain bonus elements, so it's better than action skill damage. I mean, this card is a lie, it doesn't give action skill damage. So yeah, we take riddle you this for more skill damage, and then we take a honed mind for the crit damage. So this actually gives, so this is the only source of critical hit damage that doesn't get doubled, so it's actually equivalent to the 25% you get from here and the 25% that you get from momentum. But it's still good. I would take this. And then yeah, the last one should be best defense. And without the crit knife, I would take out, or going the version with slippy and not going crit, I would take out a honed mind and best defense and put it into groundbreaker CQC. So yeah, that's pretty much the best build. For your other 3 weapon slots, I've been running a support drone and a target marker because in my boss rotation I can get both of these off before I start shooting. There's also the corrosive vial, and all 3 of these are additive. Well, you can't do 2 corrosive vials, they won't add together, but if you, all 3 of these are different, so they all add together. But in my boss rotation I found that I just couldn't get all 3 of these buffs to be active while I start shooting. It's just too much weapon switching. Maybe if you had some equip speed you could do that, but it's not worth getting equip speed here to just so that you could get 30% more damage. You might as well just take gun splash damage at that point, right? So yeah, I only have 2 damage boosting weapons here, and then the third option is just probably like a I don't know, like a for fun option, like kill drone or something, so that I can fly around and kill mobs with neutron capture. I mean, it's not part of the boss rotation that I do. So yeah, actually, let me go through the boss rotation real quick, just to show that I can actually get all this damage off before I start shooting. So you go before the boss even spawns, like Radix will do a big ass animation before he spawns in. So you shoot your sport drone and then wait for him to come down, and then you throw crit knife. Okay, well, I just did things too fast, but you get the point. Okay, I wasn't even on shot. So I'll just go over it in slow motion. Go support drone, swap over to your target marker, and then shoot the target marker and crit knife at the same time. Swap over to the Katagawas and immediately rep kit, because it'll cancel the swap animation, and then you cancel the rep kit animation with chroma accelerator, because so you have to wait like a split second for the buffs to apply, and as soon as the buffs apply you can just shoot your chroma accelerator and cancel the remaining of the rep kit animation. So yeah, you go this, and then start shooting, and then blow up the chroma accelerator. And if the chroma accelerator is taking a long time to hit, you want to, after shooting the chroma accelerator, you throw the crit knife before blowing it up, because it's possible that the crit knife from earlier ran out. So yeah, that's the full boss. I'm gonna go and go to radix, just to show you that I can do all this, that I have time to do all this. Okay, here's where I would edit the video, except I don't know how to edit, so you're just gonna have to wait for me to run through this area. Make sure all our weapons are on the right mode. That's very important. So Radix is going to put his hands on the ground, and that's when we want to shoot our support drone, like right before he spawns. Yep, so that's pretty much how you do it. And now you're really dependent on the bosses like staying still for you to do this. So, for example, versus Origo, I'm just really terrible at fighting Origo, so I would just not even bother with the support drone or target marker at that point, because if you try to do that and sync everything up, you'll just end up botching the kill. So yeah, versus stationary bosses like Radix, or at least their spawn animation is stationary. You can wait like 30 seconds for Origo to fall back down to the ground and then do this if you want. But yeah, for stationary bosses, that's how you can get some extra, squeeze some extra damage out. And if I had time to shoot the kill drone, I would. There's just not enough time. But yeah, that's it. And I'll go ahead and link the DPS calculator in the comments. So how you're gonna use this is, wait, oh, my capture wasn't even capturing my whole screen. Okay, I want to reshoot this video. Let's see. Okay, there. Yeah, so this is the calculator. So when I pulled it up earlier, it probably sounds like I was just hallucinating because I didn't pull anything up. But yeah, this is the DPS calculator. And how you want to use this is just make a copy of the spreadsheet and then find the first page with nothing filled out, make a copy, and then you can just start filling things out. So I don't have all the skills in here. Like, I don't have unstable isotope, and it's not being, like, I'm not calculating the unstable isotope in my bonus elements section. So if you want to calculate that, you're going to have to just look at the math and extend it to also work with unstable isotope. But here are the skills that I found to be beneficial to the build. And yeah, you can do your specializations here. And set, like, yeah, you can set your gun properties and fill in the stats that you get from your gear. And then here you want to adjust like the elemental properties of the enemy. So as an example, versus Radix, my neutron or my chroma accelerator is only hitting his shield bar. So you want to just put 100% shield here. And then versus the rest of his health bar, I'm doing neutron capture damage. And so since half of his shield bar is gone and his 2 remaining shield bars are armor, I would estimate that he's probably like 30% shield and 70% armor at that point. And then this will adjust all your calculations. So yeah, here's my current build. And so the numbers I put in here are because I was trying to see what enemy type would minimize my damage as radiation, so I could see when it's worth it to swap over to break the ice. Yeah, that changes our DPS. Um, yeah, but the opportunity cost of taking break the ice is obviously points in a latent charge. That's why you see break the ice being so weak here. Um, yeah, so you can adjust these properties, and then uh, oh yeah, enemies can also have elemental resistance. Now, I don't know how much resistance enemies have. Like Timekeeper has 10%, I think, to radiation and cryo. Um, honestly, yeah, that's like a part where you're just gonna have to imagine these numbers. Like you can just put in some random numbers and see how they affect the build. So yeah, like I haven't done every single possible thing that Harlowe can do in this calculator, but hopefully the formulas are straightforward enough that you can extend the spreadsheet for any other pieces of gear maybe that gets released in the future, or like different skills in the blue tree that I haven't tested yet. So yeah, um, I'll leave a link to the spreadsheet in the comments, and also a link to um, the Discord post that I made about the damage formula. So I do have a damage formula spreadsheet that's, well, I made this a while ago and I don't think it's formatted too well. So I would refer to the Discord post. It has better formatting and probably explains a few things better.